Welcome everyone. The topic for the day is material handling hazards, the control and the risk analysis thereby. So we will be talking about the different types of equipments, and I've been showing you pictures about the conveyors and the powered industrial trucks that we are looking into. It. See the amount of weights that they're coming around. These basically carrying up for the crates, and they can be pulled up to a height, can be given a distance and been allowed to place altogether. So there is a lot of flexibility, and we will be talking about such kind of hazard. What are the precautions that needs to be taken such equipments. We will also be talking about the cranes. Look at the cranes. This is the path that the crane has been moving around it. This is the path that this goes around it. So it can move the lengthwise. This is the length that goes around it, and this goes move so around here. So we have a dual position. So this again can be moved here and there. So we will be talking about the slings. That this is the slings that comes around. This is the hanging slings that has been lifted around it. If we look into it, these are the slings, the examples. And what are the hazard that has been associated with such kind of materials? We are talking in terms of weight and bulkiness. We are talking about the bending, twisting, turning of the event that comes around. So we need to take proper precautions. We need to take proper handling, and if not done in a right fashion, might lead to unwanted events altogether. We're talking about improper operation of the equipments. We are talking about the accumulated clutter, wastage that been shown in the pictograph out here. For your understanding, the unsafe conditions of the materials and the containers. Look, the way it has been put about, it has been unlaid there. The gloves are lying on the top. A certain amount of liquid has been present on the top of the thing. This is what it all leads to an accident conducive environment that we are talking about. The flammability or the toxicity of the some materials that has been. We will be talking about the weight of the material, the binding ties of other devices that concur. Look, it is supposed to be pulling, and which got itself interest, and there is elevations out here from the ground level. So this is what we are looking out here to understand what are the securities that needs to be taken care of as far as heavy duty lifting and heavy duty material handling that we are looking into it. It's all about the weight that matters, hazard associated with material handling. We will be talking about events that can fall like a lightning. It's a falling object, the pushing, the pulling, otherwise manually moving large or eventful happening that comes around here. This is what we are looking at as a manual pulling. We'll talk about the improper stacked material. This is bound to fall down any point of time, right? Look at the slanting nature that has been processed altogether. It is why, because this has been a weaker beam that has been put forward to it, stuck by or probably in caught in between. Here is a glorifying example. Now, what I'm trying to do with these particular slides in front of you is to giving you a relevant perspective as to what are the hazard which has been present, ever present, lurking in the corner, and can be happening at any point of time while material handling. See, look, everything fell down. This fell down on the laps, and there is the trapped workers which have been perhaps, um, I hope, not fully altogether. But then the types of injuries that can be reported. First and the foremost thing is this area, the back area, where a lot of sprains, tears, things that goes. There's obviously strain on your hands, on your neck, the soreness and the pain, the bruises and the contusions, cut, lacerations, punctures, crushing, and amputation often happens. Believe me or not, unfortunate thing happens, and that is the reason why I am trying to sensitize you with this particular video for the hazard associated in response to the material handling. Look what happens. This is a glorifying example where a person was just mitigatingly standing around, and because of certain malfunction got badly trapped, absolutely been pressed against the chest, and things can go wrong at any point of time. And this is all about material handling we are talking around it. And had it been a spilling of a liquid or chemicals that is been associated, so we can have contact with an objects and equipments, transportation incidents, exposure to harmful substances or environment that we are talking around it. We can have any unfortunate things. So falls, slips, trips, loss of balance, watch your steps, repetitive motion that comes across in, and over exertions at the very high temperature the worker is working around it. So that is what might be there lurking in the corner, and things might be with you people. Preventing hazards, moving material manually. This is where we are giving you examples around it. We have been giving around examples out here. Not wearing or properly improper wearing of PPE or personal protection equipment, using proper lifting techniques, what we want to go around it. This is the reasons of how to prevent unfortunate accident. Seek help in case the size of the load is heavy, too heavy for you to manage. And definitely use a blocking or material. Always have a stop gap measures for anything, for any unfortunate incident. We can prevent hazard in terms of not moving a load over a co-workers, or allow a co-workers to walk below the load at all at any point of time. We can return to the load block to the designated location after use. Often, more often than not, what happens is the employer, the worker, after finishing his or her shift, dumps the load anyway the way it has been there. The crane has been stuck out there, and with the pretext that this they will continue the or pick up the work or continue the work the next day from the point that they have left. So it is always better if we can get everything arranged properly, docked and locked altogether. So do not leave the load block low enough for someone to run into. Never ever leave suspended load unattended. That is what we are looking out here. We should not be looking into such kind of activities at any point. Preventing hazard, do not leave unused links suspended on a crane hook. Look for a wall mounted cranes, which is much better. Continuously observe equipment for any and every sign of problems during the operation, any malfunctioning, any noises that is coming. Don't allow yourself to become distracted. So operated only through a trained and qualified workers that we are looking out here. We are looking to go for a properly trained, properly educated, properly competent person who is alert always at point of time. Preventing hazards is to reduce the crane hazards by doing what we need to doing. What is the load capacity? By knowing the load capacity, by knowing the load capacity of the crane, and this is the weight we are talking about it, and herein the capacity of the crane that we are talking about it, and whether the load is safe to lift or not. In case if there are chemical associated, other precautions has to be brought in. Always taking crane load chart and never ever exceeding the crane load limits. This is one thing that you should be always be adhering to. Preventing hazard, inspection of a crane by a qualified person. That is what we believe in. Modified, repaired, or adjusted post assembly at least every 12 months. We need to design this thing. Equipment not in a regular use. Yes, definitely. Visual inspection by a competitive person prior to each shift, every shift, monthly, on a month to month basis, on every annual basis that we got to take up preventive measures altogether. Now, this has to be done through a qualified person, right? I'm sure about it. And this at the end of the beginning of the shift or on a monthly basis by the person who's actually manning the. So preventing hazards with in terms of slings, connect the crane hook to a load. This is what we are looking at it. Absolutely proper inspection has to be done because this is very vital junction where everything matters. Everything, a small mistake out here, a small overlook, oversight out here might lead to catastrophic results. Thereafter, the inspection that comes around it, look, the wire is being broken off and things like. So reduce sling hazard. How? First and foremost is use lubrications, not shortening with knots and bolts. There should not be shortenings with the knots and things like that. You cannot bolt it down and probably sling it down with another rope as such. Keep clear of loads and avoid having jerk in your movement. This is what is very important. The main causes of injuries while utilizing the forklift, see the forklift went down, it tumbled down in this particular photographs, is because It has been forklift striking workers on foot, probably person crushed by the forklift. People get injured and badly injured. At times leads to amputation. At times leads to a loss of life. We are talking of person falling from forklift and so on and so forth. That comes into mind. So this needs to be understood time and again. We need to be very clear about what exactly we are doing it, how we are proceeding it. This is the requirement that needs to be done. Preventing hazards is, how do we go about it? Having illegal operators operating on their forklift. This is very important. Not having the competent person driving or utilizing the crane. Anyone under 18, definitely, even for just for the pleasure purpose, you should not allow it. Anyone non trained. Now, how do we go about driving a forklift? Number one, there should not be any obstruction. See, look here, this is an obstruction that comes around it. So this should not be there. Travel paths should be clear. Approaching people should be known. Elevated per platform. There should be proper headlights, seat belts. The ROPs should be there. We should be having the rosing and layering of the folks and safe distances. This is what we are looking into. Now, talking about the elevating workers with the forklift, how do we go at it? Standing on the folks, lifting personnel that comes around. We have to be aware of such kind of eventualities. Approval lift platforms, restraining means what has been done. See, this person is the person who is standing. This person is the person who is driving the forklift. To please understand, elevating workers on the forklift. He is basically ensuring that this person goes on the top floor with the help of the forklift or probably arrange certain things on the top shelf altogether. So lifting personnel up platforms. So driving forklift on a grades and ramps using extreme caution, no turns, tilting and raising load machines, point load up, and so on and so forth. These needs to be taken into consideration every now and then. Please ensure what is to be done as far as the various forklift is concerned. This is what we like to know around it. Talking about how to prevent hazard in terms of a tip over, turning, avoiding collisions, avoiding wet floors, slippery floors, ascending, descending, obstructed vision, not to have certain visual obstruction, and people are not been able to see what is happening around here. That should not be the case. We should avoid certain activities altogether. Avoiding excessive weight. Do not exceed weight capacity. Keep on telling, I've been telling it time and again. About 45,000 100 pounds, sorry, 4,500 pounds that we are looking it out. Do maintain the thing. Anything in excess, what is happening in terms of degrees? See, this is at a perfect 90 degrees centigrade, but any movement with a 30 degrees thing, this goes up, and this is dangerous. So center load secure to keep maintain from shifting the balance of weight, and that is what we are looking into it. The center of gravity has to be somewhere down the centers of the person around here. See, amount of load that this person is checking. So, using of dog boats for loading and uploads, yes, this is one of those things that can be covered. This is a dog boat for loading and upload of the working, securing portable dog boats. Hand holding of the dog is much required. We are talking of exiting the forklift. How do we exit the forklift with center brake? Number one. Lower the fork table. This is the forklift that has to be lowered around it. Lifting carriage, neutralize control, put it in neutral, and stand up type forklift. Riding the forklift, never ever have two-person ride the same thing. Exception seats is provided. Exception until and unless there is a seat that's been mentioned. That means that forklift is actually capable of carrying two-person. Usually, it is designed to carry only one person. The two-person forklift is for training purposes that comes and carries around it. So we need to ensure such kind of things. Avoiding stuck up or cross by. Don't jump from an overturning sit down type forklift. Stay with the truck. Hold on firmly and lead in the opposition direction of the overturn things. Now this is what we need to go around here. This is what we are supposed to move around. talking about the forklift trainings is do not operate the forklift without proper instruction, without undergoing a certain amount of training. Have Do not go into the real life situation until and unless you have actually went through the simulated situation altogether. So report damage if any problems that might be occurring around it during the shift. Immediately inform to the supervisors, comply with occupational safety and hazard analysis standards related to material handling, the training requirement, the inspection requirement that comes around it. So this is what we have to ensure. What is done about with the employment requirements? Employer requirement is all about training and inspection requirement. This needs to be done. You look at it, inspection has been done, the training has been carried forward. So that is a thing. So employer requirement is complying with the manufacturer's requirement where they will come up with their labels. You should follow the labels as far as the load capacity is concerned. As far as anything that needs to be maintained, it's a recommendation for material handling equipment, recognizing efforts or hazards as far as this thing is concerned. Look, what is this has been open now. How do you recognize this? You put up a standing that has been mentioned out here, so there is, which will tell everybody who has not been able to see it horizontally, that vertically there is one thing which is anomaly standing up or getting erected at certain places, citing or showing that there is something this particular thing. Identifying potential hazards and probably possible solution. Look, so bad housekeeping, look, so bad inventory or storage. Now, this is what you need to avoid it. It has to be properly stacked, properly accounted everywhere, recognizing a hazard, identifying potential hazard and possible solution. Now, potential hazard, look at the status of the belt that we are utilizing it, look at what kind of machine that we are utilizing it. It is something that has to be on a makeshift basis we are looking. Please avoid such kind of attributes altogether. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video.